Let's go.
Oh, that's my left. I got
I'm going with that's my right.
Alright.
You think you're ready for that, Burger? You think you can see out the plate and do that right?
I think I could pull it off. Not gonna lie.
I think it's fire. Yeah. Only one with.
He's getting slow.
It's the final raid boss, guys.
He's the big boy.
Oh my god, that boop just made me do so much.
Alright, back to plates.
Yeah, you're welcome. I booped him before you did.
Alright, that's my
What the
left.
fuck is this?
We got.
I think that's my right.
I would say left.
That's my right. We got.
I think that's my right.
I think that's your left again.
We have a lot.
Why? Why did you do that?
What just happened? someone shoulder charged Panto and his tether just completely.
I think I did that, man. That was an accident, man. Don't trust me.
I misclicked, dude.
I misclicked. I meant to hit somebody
Hit
else.
the right mouse button. So,
I meant to hit Dagless. Double the damage. Wow, that's so freaking bad. I love it. Everybody's that's a primary, boys.
you gotta say that every time. Well, I mean, it's hard to believe that. By the way,
Crown Staros say nothing, but that's a primary, boys.
okay, no one say anything the rest of the raid
That is a
besides
primary.
that's a primary. Starting now.
That's primary, boys.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
Oh
Dude,
shit,
that's a primary. That is a primary.
That is a
Oh,
primary.
that is primary.
The Hodor's going.
Hey, that's a primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary, boys.
Primary.
I'm not down with this.
That's a primary.
That's a primary, boys.
That's a
Oh,
primary.
that's a primary, boys.
Okay.
That's a primary. Oh,
That's
that's a primary, boys.
That's a primary.
That was a primary.
Alright,
That was a primary, boys.
That's a primary.
Hey, that's a primary.
Boys.
That's a primary.
That's good.
That's a primary, boys.
Primary. That's primary, boys.
That's a primary. That's primary.
That's
That's
primary.
primary.
That's primary. That's a primary, boys.
That's a primary.
Hey, that's primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary. Ah!
That's primary, boys.
That's primary. That's a primary. That's a primary.
Go. Primary. Primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary.
Primary, boys.
That's a primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary, boy.
That's a primary.
That is a
That
primary.
is a primary,
That is
boys.
a primary.
Oh my god, that was a primary.
That's a primary, boys. Hold up, that's a
Primary?
primary, boys.
Primary, boys.
That's a primary.
That's primary.
That was a primary.
That is a primary,
That's a
boys.
primary.
That's a
That's a primary, boys. That's a primary, boys.
Dude, that's a primary.
That is a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
Primary.
That's a primary, boys. Okay.
Primary, boys.
That's a primary, boys.
That's
That's
the primary.
That's a 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 primary, boys.
That's a primary, boys.
That's a primary.
Primary?
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a
That's a
primary.
primary.
That's a primary.
That is a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary.
Primary? That's a primary.
That's a
Oh,
primary.
that's a primary.
That's a primary, dude.
That's a primary.
That's
Hey,
That's primary.
Hey, that's primary.
That's a primary,
That's a
boys.
primary.
Primary, boys.
That's a primary.
Primary?
Yeah, that's a primary.
Primary.
Alright, that's a primary, boys.
That's a primary.
Boys.
That's a primary.
That's primary, that's
That's
primary.
a primary.
Primary.
That's a primary.
That's
That's a
primary.
primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary. That's a primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary,
That's
boys.
a, no, that's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a
primary.
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 Yep, that's a primary, alright.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a freaking primary.
Primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
It's a primary? That's a primary.
Yeah, that's a primary.
It's primary.
Primary. That's primary.
It's a primary.
That's primary. That's primary. That's
That's a primary.
It's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
Primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary.
Primary. Primary.
Primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary. That's a primary.
That's primary.
That's a
Oh,
primary.
that's a primary.
That's a
That's a
primary.
primary.
Oh
primary.
my god.
Primary.
That's
Oh, that was a primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
Primary. Primary.
That's a primary.
That's not a primary.
That's primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's primary.
Hey, that's a primary.
That's a primary. That's a primary.
It's primary.
That's a primary.
It's primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary. That.
That's a primary.
That.
That's a primary.
That's a primary. That's a
Primary.
primary.
It's primary.
That's a primary.
That's primary.
Primary. That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
That's a primary.
Boys.
That's?
That's
We done it.
a primary.
Sacred architecture of a culture.
Now that's what I call a primary.
Primary, yeah, that's what I call a primary.
I hope you recorded that.
Guys, I'm taking the staircase. What are you doing?
You saved my
I'm done with
sister.
this.
Yeah.
Thank